Welcome to part 5 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Mirror Mode. In this part we are going to be going into the classic cups, and I think to change things up, let's go as Dry Bowser here. It's like extra naked Bowser. That's going to be fun. Let's see, what do we unlock? Oh, the Duke. I seem to remember playing as this back in the Wii U version, so let's give that a shot and let's get some normal blue wheels and something a bit less fabulous there. Standard one. Yeah, this could work. So we're going into the Shell Cup here. We've got Meadows, Mario Circuit GBA, Cheap Cheap Beach, and the wonderful shitty Toad's Turnpike. Let's get going. I'll make that jab at Toad's Turnpike. It's not awful, I just feel like I have too much experience with it at this point. But first up, Meadows. This is from Mario Kart Wii. Mario Kart Wii, I have replayed that last, I think, a couple of years ago. I did a little run for it for FC playthroughs. It's actually pretty fun. Like, it's maybe not got the most memorable courses of all time, but you know, for what it is, it's a plenty fun game. It's probably like your next best bet for good control, just behind Mario Kart 8. So, you know, if you want a game to play just for some different courses, then you know, you can pick up Mario Kart Wii. Like, the problem is that now the online has been discontinued, so you just can't play online against your friends anymore. But like, if you're having people over, then you can still play it just fine. Or if you're the kind of person like me who sits and plays Mario Kart by themselves against CPUs because I have no friends, then you can have fun with it there too. But yeah, Meadows. This course, it looks much prettier here than it did in the Wii one, obviously. I like the detail in the texture on the dirt track. I also like the grass. Like, the grass is still typical flat grass, like you kind of expect from games now, but like, you know, it does the job. It looks really nice. It kind of does lack distinct set pieces other than maybe the cows crossing the road, but I guess for an opening course, because that's basically what it is. It's like the opening course for the Classic Cups, so I can't really expect too much. It does what it needs to do. It's non-oppressive. It's fun enough, of course. I am fucking miles ahead of everyone, so let's hope I can keep that up. And yeah, this doesn't really feel all that different. I can see that I am going other ways, but yeah, it's where it is. And there's the exit. Can I make it? Yes, I can. That wasn't really a question, was it? I was so far ahead of Luigi. Unless like he got a last second bullet bill or some shit, I had no way of getting overtaken there. And here we have one of the GBA courses. I've played a bit of Super Circuit since the last time I covered any Mario Kart stuff. It's not that great. Like, it's not awful, it's not unplayable, but it's kind of got the same problem as the Super Nintendo version, that like, it's 2D, it's a little bit awkward to look at, the perspective's a bit funky, and yeah, like, I much prefer 3D Mario Kart to 2D Mario Kart. But that's just me, you know. Although saying that, I do think that Super Circuit is the one that gets the most flack from a lot of people. Outside of, like, Double Dash is quite divisive. Like, there's people like me who don't care that much for Double Dash, but then there's other people who say that like it's their favourite game and they really like the Double Racer gimmick that it has going on and whatnot. Like, fair play. Like, I only really make fun to make fun. I can kind of see what people might get from it that I don't. I just kind of, it's not to my taste, and I think it's the control that bothers me more than anything else about Double Dash. Fuck. I was looking after that shell as well. That was my safety shell, my defense shell. But the Cruel Thunder had to take it from me, and that's one thing I can say that I am appreciative of 8 compared to 8, in that fucking lightning cloud item, or you know, the STD cloud, like, that's not really a thing anymore. Like, they took that out because that was a fucking piece of shit item that they had, that like, you pick it up, it'd hover above your head and eventually just shock you, and the only way to save yourself from that is to like sexually transmit it by crashing into like another racer on the course, and that got kind of irritating. And especially when you would just you'd crash into someone, like you'd just hit them, it'd pass to them, but then within a second they've knocked back into you, and you get it back, and then it goes off, and that's like the most fucking demoralising thing you could possibly have happen. Okay, I'm not winning this. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so I am really going to have to pull my weight in the later courses, I reckon, because I'm tied first right now. Now, Cheap Beach from the DS one. Mario Kart DS, I played that not too long ago, another one that I did for FC playthroughs. That game is another one where, like, the control ain't all I remembered it being, and I know that is kind of a DS thing, in the fact that, like, the DS doesn't have an analog stick, and it doesn't even have one in, like, little nubs that the 3DS has. So your controls there are always going to be that little bit more awkward to pull off than, like, say, having a proper analog stick to use. But, you know, it just feels a lot clunkier than more recent games. And in a way, that's kind of a positive, because it shows that the games are getting better over time. That's kind of a sign of a massive upgrade when you go back to a previous entry in the series and it feels much more archaic than a previous one. That happens with a lot of series, to be fair. That's not something that I can whip on Mario Kart for. Jesus Christ, Diggy, get the fuck back here, mate. But yeah, speaking of controls, what I'm using for my setup right now is I'm using the Joy-Cons, but I've slid them into that little grip thing that you get with the Switch console. Like, I used to play the Wii U version with the Wii U Pro Controller, which I think was criminally underused. Like, the Wii U Pro Controller is actually a fantastic controller, but because the Wii U sort of didn't have many games, it really didn't get used for much. And so, like, I wasn't able to appreciate it as much as I would like to, because to hold on to, it's a really comfortable controller. And this grip thing for the Switch is okay, but after a while it does start to get a little bit uncomfortable. Like, you start to become very aware of the fact that you've just got two rectangular blocks inside a, like, cheap bit of plastic. When comparing that to, like, the Wii U Pro Controller, which is a proper sturdy, firm controller that's, like, basically a shinier version of an Xbox 360 controller, you know, the comparisons there aren't all that favourable. And that's a new thing, I think. Like, they brought back the Boo item that comes in, and I think that still is your secondary weapon. I think they just did there. I have a primary one, and I just had like reserve green shell as well. I weren't paying properly attention, but yeah, they brought that back, and I think Boo's a new playable character in this game, I want to say. I don't remember him from 8. Like, I remember him from Mario Kart Wii, but yeah. I'm back in the lead. I just hope that I can keep that in the next race. Here we go, here is Toad's Turnpike, and I was very harsh against this when I made my little jab at it, and I have been quite harsh against it a fair few times. It's not an awful track, but it does have the problem of there being other cars on the road that can damage you. And that's always like a least favourite trope of mine in racing games, because I like to just go fast carelessly. And given other cars on the road can be quite unpredictable, it's not the sort of thing that, like, getting good can kind of help you at. Unless you're, like, speaking getting good at waving, but I'm not good at waving. But yeah, so it's much better here than it was in the 64 one, because in Mario Kart 64 this level is just so bland to look at. I know you could say that about a lot of the N64 ones, but it was literally just a motorway kind of thing. Well, not a motorway, but like Turnpike, I think that's more of an Americanism than anything. I don't think I hear that word get used that much around here. I don't know, but yeah, maybe that's just because I'm a useless shut-in who doesn't drive and very rarely goes out. But yeah, I want to try and maintain this first, because I did notice on the scoreboard that I think I'm only 3 points ahead, and that's not safe enough for me, and that's the sort of thing that if I fuck up too bad here I could lose that gold overall. So I just want to make sure that I don't fuck up too tremendously here. So if I get a little bit more serious mode here, that's why. Let's do this. So if I go up these things here, like, although I am technically going on the outside of the course, and thus I don't have like the inside advantage, I do get boosted along, and I'm not sure overall which would be faster, whether I sort of drift around the inside or whether I get boosted around the outside. I did notice a little bit there, speaking of like the graphical fidelity, that I seem to see a bit of weird texture filtering going on, like the light reflection on the road ahead of me, it seems like it's tearing a little bit, like not as in screen tearing, but as in like it's sharp for a little bit, then it cuts off and it goes back to a blur, and then it like filters back out again, so like there's these sort of circular like blades going on. It doesn't look entirely natural, and it looks like it might be the Switch having a few issues rendering things on the fly, but nevertheless I won that, so yeah, I'm okay with that result. I like how the backdrop for this is the cows, and yep, got another vehicle upgrade. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, join me next time where I'll be going on to the Banana Cup. I'll see you then.